Hi everyone at Female Fearless and Financially Flourishing. It's Laura Renner again for your bi-weekly Thursday expert panel on outsourcing. And today I'm going to talk about a common mistake we all make when using a VA and how to avoid that. Going forward, I'm going to try to keep these shorter, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, because I just noticed that me personally, I tend to I'm more likely to watch the video or join in if it's 5 minutes versus if it's 15, or last time I went 25 minutes. So I'll keep these short, and then we can continue the conversation in the comments afterward. Okay, so the common mistake that I see people have when they're wanting to use a VA is when they think about the tasks that they want their VA to take on, they say, I'll send it to you as it comes up. Okay, so an example is that I'll use that I was just dealing with last night, and that is my rugby team. I coach a high school girls rugby team, and there's a lot of admin work that goes into it, particularly around right now we're going into the summer season, and so there's a lot of summer sevens tournaments also in our division right now. This weekend we'll start the tryouts for the All-Stars, which also competes during the summer. And so there's lots of information that I need to get out to the players about these upcoming tournaments and upcoming tryouts and practices. Our team is not doing a sevens tournament, or sevens team, but there are other teams that are looking for players. So anyway, and plus we're going to transition communication systems and all this stuff. So last night I was sitting there thinking I could really use some help with this. And I thought, oh my gosh, it would be so much more work. Like, where would I even start to have a VA take over this? One, they'd need to know every player's email address, every player's phone number. So I'd have to go find that on a piece of paper somewhere because I don't have it saved anywhere, and things like that. And it just was like, oh, it's so overwhelming. I just have to do it myself, but I don't have time to do it. So then it just sits at the bottom of my to-do list every day, and it just takes up space, right? It's at the bottom of the list because it's a volunteer thing, you know what I mean? So it's important, but at the same time, it's not as important as the things I need to do with my job, my business, right? And so it sits at the bottom of the list. So if you think of like your to-do list as an upside down pyramid, where the things at the top of the list are the most important, and therefore it's the biggest part of the pyramid, and then as you get further down the list, the less important they are, the thinner, the narrower the pyramid gets, right? But the problem with that is that then, because it sits there day after day after day, then it starts growing. So then the pyramid turns into like an hourglass, right? And it even, in reality, the importance or urgency may not have changed, but the importance is growing in your brain. So now it's taking up the brain space and the energy space in your head, and it's driving you nuts, right? So this is the mistake. I have now waited until the situation is dire for it to decide to outsource. And so then it's overwhelming. I don't know where to start, and so then I just don't start. Right? And so that is the common mistake that people make is, I'll just send it to you when it comes up, but then when that happens, you're just overwhelmed and you never send it to them. So how do you avoid that? The best thing to do is invest upfront. Okay, invest in a process, invest in training, invest in the tools needed. And I mean, we're not talking about anything major here, right? So like, continuing this rugby example, and we're going to be marching in the 4th of July parade. So continuing this rugby example, now that I'm past the immediate task, right? What does a VA need in order to support me with this rugby example? They would need access to the 2 communication systems we use, maybe the login to the division system, but that could be later. But for immediately, what I need support in is them communicating with the team about different practice times and different tournaments and different scholarships, things like that. So basically, all they really need is the login to the 2 communication systems, and if I want to, maybe even the login to my email. But it could be that I just forward them the emails coming from the division or coming from other teams, coming from different schools, and they can handle it. But that's really all they need. And then it would take me 5 minutes to train them. Hey, when you get this email that has a flyer, go through TeamSnap to email everyone the flyer. When you get this message about a practice coming up with a different team, go to GroupMe to send a text message to that team about that practice. And that's all you got to do. And so then now it's not so overwhelming, right? So now when I get an email from the division director about an upcoming tournament or an upcoming potential college scholarship, I can just forward it to the VA and they can take care of it, and now it's off of my mind. So when you think about a task that you want to outsource, one, give yourself some space to think about how you want to do it. And two, ask yourself, what would someone else need in order to complete this task? So in this case, they need a couple logins, right? Maybe you might need more, like maybe, I need to upload the email addresses into this site so they can start forwarding. Okay, that's fine. And it would take you, I don't know, maybe an hour watching TV over a glass of wine at night. That's what I did last night, to upload the email addresses into the system. But now it's set, and now someone else can do it. And so the key is to set yourself up with the VA, with those tasks and the tools they need to do those tasks before you need it done, before you're in dire straits, if you will. And so if you think about it, like it's kind of like, an oil change in your car. Like you have your oil change mechanic already identified before you need an oil change, and then you go and get it done before your engine explodes or something like that. And so that way, not only can you just fire it off to your VA when a task comes up, but then you're also not overwhelmed. So now that thing at the bottom of your to-do list doesn't get bigger and bigger and bigger, like if you think about the pyramid expanding at the bottom, turning into an hourglass. Instead, it doesn't even go on your to-do list because your VA takes care of it. All right. So like I said, I'll keep it short this week. And the example is, figure out what your VA needs in order to do that task before you need the task done, so that when the task comes up, you're not overwhelmed. And that's the common mistake to avoid this week. Next time I'll share another tip for how to use a VA effectively, and we'll keep going from there. If you have any comments or suggestions, or want to share your stories about different ways you've outsourced, or any questions or comments, feel free to comment down below and we'll respond and keep the conversation going. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.